This is Tyler Lewis here. On today's show, we have a very special guest with us, Ryan Benardi. Thanks for being with us today.
Tyler, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Appreciate you. Obviously, we know Ryan is one of the best and up-and-coming high school coaches here in North Carolina. Ryan is a bright young head coach, and in his first year at Burlington School last year, he led his team to the state championship game where they fell short. And I know he's ready to get back there this year. Ryan, let me ask you one question. How excited are you to get this season started?
Man, I mean, just you saying how he came up short. I mean, you just get kind of goosebumps hearing that because, it's just so vivid, those memories of losing that game last year. And it's definitely fueled our offseason, so that makes us excited. But also the uncertainty that's gone into this season, right? Like from about April to October, we were not sure if we were going to have a season. So just being back in the gym has been so exciting, and we can't wait to get started.
I know you touched on it a little bit about like the goosebumps of getting back out there in that title game, bringing back a little memories. How is that game going to impact you and like fuel your fire for this year?
Yeah, someone told me about a week after we lost that you'll never forget losing that game. You'll never get over it, and that's very true. I just watched the film of that game about 2 weeks ago. Northwood Temple played a really good game, but we felt like we didn't play our best. So it motivates us a lot. We graduated 6 seniors, Tyler, so we've also got a new team. So we can talk about it a little bit, but sitting around the fireplace and talking about stories of the past doesn't really work with new players. So we've got to turn the page and get ready for this year and this year's team.
Takes a lot of guts to sit there and watch the last game of the season. I know it had to be tough. That's something I definitely probably would say I would not have done if I was you, if I was in your position, but I completely understand. Getting into another question, I just want to know, why do you coach and what fuels your fire every day and your passion to coach?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tyler. Like Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why, is something that's really helped my philosophy. I think the biggest reason I coach is to have an impact on other people. Like I was blessed with an unbelievable life growing up, unbelievable parents, just in a really favorable situation. So I hope in my coaching career, I can have an impact on my players, both on and off the court. Another thing that fuels me is just the relationships. I think I'll probably touch on it a lot today, Tyler, is there's just nothing better than that bond that results in a coach-player relationship. I just got off the phone last night with Elijah Poteet, who graduated. He's now at Rice. And it's just it's special to talk to a kid that's now moved on from your program, that's moved on from your quote-unquote tutelage, and to hear how he's doing in life, hear how he's doing in school, hear how he's doing on the court. I think that's just the relationships that come out of this is my why. And then the third thing, Tyler, is I do love basketball. Like, man, I get so excited for practice every day, and I get so excited about watching film. Like, there's something about this sport that's special. So obviously winning does as well. And then just the last thing is you want to be a dream fulfiller. I hope that I can help kids achieve their dreams and fulfill their dreams. So I appreciate the question.
No, I mean, you answered it better than anyone can answer it, because, I mean, you put other people before yourself first. I think the third thing you mentioned was basketball. The other 2 things is making an impact in someone else's life. And honestly, that's what you're supposed to do as an individual, not only on the basketball court, but in the regular society out here. You always put others before yourself. And that's what I really love about you. And I know your players love that about you as well. So I know you're a manager at Elon. How was your experience at Elon, and how did that help you grow as a coach?
Yeah, I mean, first, the coaching staff was really, really special to me, just how they kind of took me under their wing. Appreciate those guys, Matt Matheny, Jack Wooten, Monty Sanders, who's now at Wilmington, Chris Long, and JB Tanner. Really appreciate those guys. I think the biggest way it's impacted me, Tyler, is that in our program, we sell that we're going to create a Division I atmosphere, and we're going to prepare you for college by being in our program. And when someone's asked, like, what gives you the credentials to do that? Well, I was in a Division I program for 3 years. So it helps me on the big level, right? The basketball side, the X's and O's, the game planning, that sort of thing. But it also helps with the small things, in like itinerary for road trips, food requests. Everything that goes into running a basketball program, we're going to try to do it like a college program does it. And my experience at Elon helped prepare me to kind of run our program like a Division I program.
And obviously, you are doing a really good job at it right now. So keep up the great work there for sure. I know you mentioned getting back to that state championship game this year already. What are your goals for this season?
Yeah, I mean, a banner is the first thing. A banner is something that it's not just about the win. It's something that lasts longer than any of us ever will. That banner on the wall, that ring will last longer than our lifespan. It will be passed down from generation to generation. So it's about leaving a legacy is what a state championship does. So that, and then all of our seniors going to college is our two goals of every season. Last year we came up 3 points short of the state championship, but all 6 of our seniors are in college. So that's the most important thing. If you graduate from the Burlington School and you graduate from our basketball program, it is our mission to get you in college. It's our mission. It's going to happen. And then I think just another thing is, like, we want to build a band of brothers and we want to build a family. And it's a goal of every team to have elite team chemistry and to have elite bond off the court and to have elite sacrifice and all the things that go into a family, spending time together off the court, talking about things unrelated to basketball, are all kind of crucial pieces to our team. We had to do a lot of it over Zoom, especially in September, October. We didn't get together in person as a full team until October 7th. So we had to do a lot of this over Zoom, which I know a lot of teams did. So we're just kind of trying to fast track that process of building a band of brothers.
And during that answer, you talked about the banner helps build a legacy. I want to ask you another question about a legacy. How do you see your legacy at the Burlington School? How it's going to play out?
Yeah, I think the players are the ones who leave a legacy. I hope I can be the mediating factor for our players to help attract players to this school, this special school that I know we'll talk about, and then help them play, be in the classroom, and be the best people to their ability, right? So I kind of look as the mediator. It's not about me. It's about our players, because at the end of the day, the players are the ones that score. I know, Tyler, unlike you, I could not go out there and score in a basketball game. So it's all about our players, and they're the ones who will leave the legacy. I hope I'm remembered as someone who helped mediate that process, helped them be, they're the best version of themselves, and help turn, young men into mature people.
Yeah. And I also think, like, you will be able to build your legacy the way you coach and putting your players first and having them being able to play their game. And once they leave their legacy, they'll speak the kind words that they always do back on the coach. And I know that you'll build a great legacy there as well.
Yeah, I think, Tyler, you touched on it. Let the other people do the speaking for you, right? If I pour into our players as much as I can, it doesn't need to be about me at all. And I think in return, you get, what you need to get out of it.
I agree. So this year, or all your years coaching, what would you say is your mission statement for your team? What's your motto that you guys live by?
Yeah. So here at the Burlington School in our basketball program, it's mission, men, me. Those are it's a term we stole from the Army. It's a term that our players can recite like the back of their hand. I'll kind of give you a little quick rundown of it, Tyler. First is the mission, which we've already talked about, which is win a state championship and all of our seniors go to college. Men is building a band of brothers, which we've already talked about as well. A band of brothers that are willing to sacrifice me for we, right? So, in order to win that banner, you need to put another person first. And it's hard. A lot of people come here to the Burlington School and come from situations where, they were the man. And here you're going to need a sacrifice, just like at all the great schools. And where we want to go, you're going to need to sacrifice even more. Sacrifice me for we. And then third is the me. And we're very intentional about putting the me in there, because you've got to be committed to individual improvement. You've got to get 1% better each day. And for us, what goes into that? First is we track our players' sleep. We track their nutrition. We lift. We, individual workouts. On top of them, the IQ improvement, film, stuff like that, scouting, all the stuff that go into an individual's improvement. We're intentional about putting that in our mission statement, because it can't just, you can put others first, be all about the mission, but if you're tired, you drinking soda, and you show up with a bad mindset, like, it doesn't matter that you put the other people first. So that order is very intentional. Mission, men, me. Our player, we hope that our players know it and buy into it, believe it, live it. I think one of the best moments from last year, we win the John Wall, which was great. In the post-game press conference, a question was asked, and Kuel said, "Well, we have a slogan, mission, men, me," right? So when your players can recite your slogans, I think you're getting somewhere.
No, I love it. I love it. So if someone is coming into, they've never seen your team play before, and they walk into the gym to either watch your team practice or play, what are they going to say about your team?
Yeah, first thing's got to be high energy, and we call it unconditional energy, regardless of the score, regardless of the circumstance. It's got to be high energy, and we're all so lucky to be playing basketball. You've got to bring the juice, man. You got to bring the juice every day. So that's going to happen, especially in our practices, games. We're still working on building that, and we'll see this weekend at your event if we can bring unconditional energy this weekend. The next is unselfish. It was one of the best compliments we had from a parent last year. Say, man, you guys just move the ball so well. Like, we want to be unselfish. You want to give up good for great. You want to sacrifice me for we. That's a huge thing. And then you want to hopefully see our family. You want to see our connectedness. Dabo Swinney, we showed this clip at the beginning of the year. Dabo Swinney says, we won that game because we outloved them, and we want to feel the same way with our team. You just want to feel this connection with coaches, players, coaches, and then players to players. And then, Todd, if I could say one more thing, is something we pride ourselves on, is just being prepared. With the schedule that we play a lot of good coaches, a lot of good teams. We hope to be really prepared for what other teams are doing and be prepared on our end, not look, although last year we did not always look prepared. If you saw us against Combine last year, you would say they were not prepared. So we got to get better at that.
Well, since you brought up the schedule right now, and I know you guys, you're very supportive of us at Phenom, and we greatly appreciate that. And what games are you looking forward to most? I mean, you have some great ones that are Phenom events. Which ones are you looking forward to? They can be outside of Phenom events, but what games on your schedule are you looking forward to?
That's a good question. I got to hit you with a little coach speak first. I'm really looking forward to our inter-squad scrimmage today. It's probably what I'm looking forward to most, is the scrimmage today. So we're pumped to get after it for the first time, 5-on-5 live, in a scrimmage format. So we're pumped about that. I think for me, the stuff I love about the matchups that we get with Phenom and in our schedule is the great coaches that I get to coach against and we get to go up against, right? We've got Freddie. We've got Antonio Lowe. We've got Jeff McGinnis. We've got Mike Wright. We've got Rob Salter, this bum Mason Padgett. We've got all these really good coaches that I get to learn from as we prepare for them. So that's really exciting. For me, I don't really get off on the players that we're playing against. It's just a number on a scout. I think after the fact, it's cool to say, we played Moravian last year. Josh Hall was number 5. That's all he was to us in our preparation. But now it's pretty cool to say, we played him. Same with Isaiah Todd and Shaquille Moore, Cam Hayes, all these guys that are having great success. But leading up to the season, Tyler, I can't say I'm excited about playing a player or anything like that. It's just another number on the scout. So I think all of our games at Phenom, we play 6 games this year at Phenom down in Rock Hill. I think all of those will be great. So just really looking forward to a tough, competitive schedule this year.
No, and I know you guys, if I was a other team on the other side, I wouldn't want to be playing you guys. I know it's going to be great matchups. And y'all are going to have a heck of a team as well. And speaking of your team, y'all are very talented, probably one of the most talented teams in the state. Who do you think is going to be like that breakout player for you guys this year?
Sure. A big thing we've emphasized, Tyler, is our senior leaders, right? So like you need, especially building a program, right? This is the first time I've been at a place that I'm in year 2. So I was at BCA for 1 year, and then last year TBS for 1 year. So all of a sudden now I'm at year 2. So this is the first time we're building a program. Your senior leaders have to be instrumental as you're building a program. So for us, that's Kuel, Jamari, Isaiah Escobar, Jay Hladek, and Jaden Lewis. I start with Kuel and Jamari. They'll kind of, in practice, and they've kind of made our team go so far. They're our 2 most high-profile players. Super excited about their unselfishness. Kuel now has been with us for 2 years. Kuel really understands what we're trying to do on and off the court and is a great ambassador to that. The thing I love about both those guys is how much they're proud of and rep our school on social media. That's really important. Like those guys aren't just about themselves and their image. They're interested in building other people's, their teammates, and our school's image, which is super important. 2 more senior leaders. Isaiah Escobar. This is now my 5th year coaching him. I have a really special relationship with Isaiah. He's ready to have a great year. Hearing from some Division III coaches, pumped about Isaiah and his just continued development as a person and player. And then Jay Hladek, who played a huge role for us. He's been out with a knee. Averett, William Peace, among others, are really interested in Jay. So super excited about getting him healthy. He brings energy. So pumped about Jay. And then so we have these senior leaders, and then we have this young talent. Another person that's kind of right in the middle of that. He's not quite in either category, but it's Ryan Roberts. He's 2022. This will also be my 5th year coaching Ryan. He's moved with me from school to school. So just thankful for Ryan's belief in me, his family's belief in me, and just really excited to end on a really high note with Ryan. He's going to have a really good year. And then as we go to our young talent, right? Jaquel Powell, Don Walker, Kobe George really headline that. Those 3 are going to be a 3-headed monster. Jaquel's 23 and Kobe and Zion are in 24. Those guys are going to be really good for a long time. So anytime you have young players, there's a learning curve, but those guys are super talented and are going to have a great year for us. Shane Peterson is a newcomer. He's a junior. Pumped about Shane. I've been with Shane for a while as well, super close with his family. And then Carson Kroom and Kendrell Brooks will kind of round out our roster. So good roster, like you said. Feel really lucky to be in the conversation with some of these really high talented teams, and we'll just go do our best.
A lot of great talent, I'll tell you that much. Your inter squad scrimmage, you don't even know either team could win. You could throw out 5 on each team and not even sure which team's going to win. I love it.
Yeah, whatever team I'm coaching will win. I've already talked to the refs about that, so we got that covered.
You're probably the one reffing and coaching at the same time.
That's right. Then my team's definitely going to win. I'll tell you that.
So being a head coach at Burlington Christian and the Burlington School, obviously there's things that you do great. What is something that you've learned in those 2 years of being a head coach that you're like, hey, this is what I need to improve on?
Yeah, I think the first thing that stands out is how I handled referees. I was terrible at handling referees my first year. I was just like a jerk. There's no need for that. It was nonsense. Proud to say I had no technical fouls last year, and now this year I'm really gonna, just be better. Like as I've talked to referees, I think I really let the emotion get the best of me early on. Got to be more poised and got to handle referees better. And then another thing, Tyler, is I tried to do way too much kind of my first 2 years as a head coach. Sometimes less is more. So I think this year we're a lot simpler in terms of our schemes and our system. Give the players an option A and then an option B if that's not there, and boom, that's all we're going to do. We're going to get really good at that. So rather than trying to throw, I think I was just so excited to be a head coach. My playbook was, it went past the screen. It was so long. And we couldn't do anything. We didn't never scored on a play. So like less is more. Let's be a really good execution team on a few things rather than a bad execution team, but be able to go through a lot of sets in 5-on-0. So those 2 things are things that stand out, Tyler.
Yep. And obviously it's nice that you can even see your faults too. That takes a lot of growth as a person to fix that. So
Tyler, if I can butt in there, like a big reason for that is my staff. I've got a really good coaching staff. that I told them when I brought them on, like, I'm not perfect and you've got to be able to hold me accountable. We think of it more as accountability partners. So Troy Bourne, Sam Lehman, Paul Murray, Matt Handy are really instrumental in that. Those guys have been around me for a while. There's no sugarcoating it. We talk to our staff about, screaming praise in public, but, screaming criticism in private. So loyalty, but also, being a truth teller in private.
Yeah. And I mean, you're only as good as your staff around you. There's no head coach in the world that would be as good as they were if it wasn't for their staff that was put around them.
Tyler, what's your biggest takeaway on that point as you were on college staffs? Like what were things that your head coaches did well to empower their staff?
I mean, I think I was on 3 different staffs in college, so I really enjoyed the impact of having each coach having their input on each individual thing. Like if you just have one coach that's going to a certain person for offense, and that makes the other 4 people feel like they're not involved. And I feel like the 3 coaching staffs that I were around did a great job of making sure that each person felt a part of the team and each person felt important. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it goes back to just having that we mentality rather than that me mentality. As the head coaches who I worked for, I mean, they always had that we mentality and wanted to get better the way you want to get better. And it kind of just developed. I mean, Coach Strage at Elon's, he's turning things around. Like he's going to do amazing things there. Coach Ritchie at Furman, he's doing great things. Like they're I think two of the best mid-major programs in the country here soon. Mm-hmm. And Coach Dooley, I mean, he's definitely going to get things turned around at East Carolina. I mean, he's recruiting at a really high level right now, and being able to spend a year with each of those guys. I mean, spent more time with Coach Strage at Elon because I played with him at Butler. But I mean, those 3, they coach a different way on the court and how they maybe interact with their players, but they all stand for the right things of, putting their players first and their staff first, and being able to be a family atmosphere.
That's great.
So my next question to you, TBS, I mean, such a small school, but they're building something special. And where do you see the Burlington School in the next 5 years?
I appreciate the question because I agree. I think the first thing about TBS is there's this really solid foundation in place, just solid. First, academics. This is an academic school first. There's no doubt about it. That when you come here, you're going to be challenged in the classroom. Like you said, it's going to be small classes that you're going to be expected to participate. So that's the first thing, is the academic situation is just as good as it gets. And then there's a tradition. So anytime, you want to make a place special, you're just at such a head start when there's already a tradition, there's already name value. So that's the first thing as we look at kind of turning TBS into where we want to get it in 5 years. The second thing is we want to continue doing what we did last year and what we can control every day, which is to live out our mission, which is state championships and kids in college, and continue to, raise banners in the gym. I think that's super important as you build a program to where you want to get it, that you have banners in the gym and you have kids in college who are then coming back and are giving testimonials who support your program. That's just so important that we continue to do that every year. Like there's no, that's got to be done. If we want to get to where we want to get to in 5 years, that has to be done, every year in and year out. And then as we look at 5 years, Tyler, first is new facilities. We're in, have the plans of a brand new gym, 35,000 square foot gym that has 5 new classrooms, weight rooms, locker rooms. It's a state of the art facility. So that's where we hope to be. The plan is to break ground relatively soon. So we're excited about that. We want to continue to play the schedule that we play. The term national schedule, I feel like is overused now. We're willing to play whoever, wherever, and whenever. And it's in a very humble way we say that because we respect everyone we play, but there's not there's not many teams that we won't play. And I think our schedule last year and this year show that because it's about our players. So hopefully one day that's a schedule that takes us outside of the state and outside of the region. But you can play a really good schedule within the state and with Phenom Hoops and their help. And I think the third thing that any really good program has is financial backing. So as we continue to move forward, obviously we're going to have to raise the money to build a gym, and just continuing to let people in and see the impact that this school is having, and hopefully garner some support in that realm. So, that's where we just hope to get to as we keep building this thing. And but would be remiss to say that it's just all me. I mean, it's an unbelievable foundation, an unbelievable situation that I was lucky enough to come into.
I know I dealt with, when I was at Elon, I had to deal with two of your athletes who came to Elon. And I will say this about the TBS admissions and people who I've dealt with there. They couldn't have been better. And during the process, and they were able to get like all their paperwork done ASAP. They really wanted to see these kids succeed at a very high level. And I know that they're going to get it from the basketball side of things, but whenever I was able to see it from the admissions and the school part, I mean, you can tell the school is definitely heading, I mean, it's already in the right direction, but they're going to continue to keep growing because they care so much about these kids and they want to see these kids succeed. So obviously they have the support from the academic side. And then when they get outside of school, they have it from the basketball side too. So they're winning in both areas in life right there.
And then Tyler, as lucky enough to be the athletic director here as well, and we're not a one-trick pony. Our baseball program has 2 high major commits. We're really building a good baseball program. Coach Holland is doing a great job, and girls soccer with Rick Frampton has won state championships. So hopefully we can continue to grow not just our basketball program, but our athletic program as a whole.
I love it. And it just shows that your job as an athletic director, you're caring about so many different sports, and not only just your own. I mean, you may hear about just basketball only here and there, but I mean, like you said, the baseball program's great. The soccer program's great. And what's one thing, my next question to you is your biggest life lesson that like carries over to coaching?
That's a good one. Yeah. I think the thing that I try to show to our players and that I want them to take away is that if you don't love what you do, don't do it. Life is too short. There's way too many things that can happen. We're seeing that right now with COVID. If you don't love what you do, don't do it. And I hope that our players see how much me and our staff just loves this. Like Tyler, I can't tell you how much we love coaching and we love our players. And we just, and we hope that they feel the same way about playing basketball. But then as they get in the real world and as they, start finding occupation, like do something you love, do something. If I didn't get a penny, I'd coach. If I wasn't paid 1 cent, I would coach for the rest of my life. And I hope our players will adopt the same thing as they, start looking for jobs.
No, I agree. If you life's too short. If you don't like doing something, don't do it. And if you find something you love, go for it all the way. And that's one thing, that's a motto that you can tell your kids to live by every day. This year is going to be crazy, not only just because your team's talented, but we're dealing with COVID and pandemic right now. Like, how do you see this season going for you guys?
Yeah. I mean, the first thing, Tyler, is leading up to this point, how we've kind of dealt with COVID. I think it's been really hard, and I know every school's handled it differently. A couple of things about our school. First, we've had 0 COVID cases in our high school, which we're really happy and proud of. Our school's done a great job being proactive and having tough screening questions that really hold our students accountable. On the basketball side, we've practiced in masks, practiced and coached in masks, which has been tough, which I know a lot of colleges are doing. So that's been, a couple of steps as a school we've worked on to mitigate the spread. And then from another basketball side of things, Tyler, just the live streaming and the access that we're having to provide here in the COVID world, right? So, there have been no college coaches allowed to come to our campus, even though it's been live for Division II, Division III schools. Our schools made a decision that no outsiders will be allowed in the gym. So we've had to live stream all of our workouts. We've had over 45 coaches watch our workouts on the live stream, which we're really proud of. So there's access in terms of that from a college coach standpoint. And then we've really worked to develop our access in terms of social media and photography, videos, just giving people who would normally be able to see what's going on inside our program, who aren't because of COVID, giving them an opportunity to have a window into our program. And so those are kind of some ways we've dealt with COVID. And just moving forward, it's going to be strange with no fans. We're going to have to disguise our calls. I'm worried about that. It's like, man, it's going to be easy to scout because it's going to be silent in the gym. So we're going to have to disguise our calls somehow. We're going to have to create our own energy. That's why energy is going to be so important this year. It's because there's no crowd. We're going to have to really create our own energy. And then we're just lucky to play at events like you guys, like I said, 6 games and Phenom Hoops events that we'll be able to have some crowds. So we're excited to be there and be able to play in front of some people. So that's kind of a long-winded answer.
Sounds good. Well, we're excited to have you as always. And they're going to be great events and great games. And I just want to say thank you for coming on here, Ryan. You're going to be an outstanding head coach for years to come. You have an exceptional, bright future ahead of you. And I wish you nothing but the best this year at the Burlington School. And I appreciate you again coming on here.
Yeah. Thanks, Tyler. Hey, we'll see you on Saturday. All right. Look forward to your event.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thanks, man.
Uh-huh.